We are continuing from strings. Strings in Python represent Unicode character values. Python doesn't have a character data type. A single character is also considered a string. So the strings are declared inside a single or double quotes like this. Suppose we are declaring a value to a variable name. So name is assigned a value, which is a string, which is inserted inside a double quotes. It can be single quotes as well. If you run this, you'll see that it declares it as a string. So the name Snigdha is a string. Now, to access values in a string, we use indexes and square brackets. So see, every letter in this string has an index value. The letter S stands at the position of 0. The index position is 0. For the letter N, the index position is 1. Letter I, index position is 2. Similarly, for rest of all the letters, if you run name, the index 0, the S is standing at index position 0, right? So you can observe that strings are immutable in nature and we can't change string once it's replaced. So let's get into the command line input for strings. Suppose you assign a variable X an input and you print hello, comma, X. And when you run this, it asks, what do you, because you haven't declared anything in the input, you can provide anything. Let's say world. And it prints the output as hello world. Right. Operations using strings. Name, Snigdha. If you want to declare a value in all uppercase letters, you use the function name.upper. When you run this, all the letters change to uppercase, right? And similarly for lower, if you write name.lower and run this command, all the letters change to lowercase. Similarly, if you want to replace some letter inside a string, in Snigdha we have small a, right? Now we do new underscore name is equal to name dot replace small a to capital A. And when you print this command, the small a has changed to capital A. This is how you replace a letter inside a string. To know the index positions in a string, you can you have to use square brackets and keep type 0:7. And when you do this, you get the entire name from the index position 0 to 7, the name that you have declared, which is Snigdha. If you even write name 0, and you leave this empty, also it takes all the letters from index position 0 to the ending, and it gives you Snigdha. And when you take the index position name, if you started from index position 2 and you leave this empty, and it starts from index position 2 to the rest. And similarly, when you leave the front column empty and declare it till third index position, it only returns the value from first in 0 index position to the before 3, which is to S and I. If you want to know the value of the third index position, and when you run this, you get C. That's all about strings. Easy, right? Now let's get into lists. Lists are one of the 4 collection data types. Even dictionaries, sets, and tuples are also a collection data type, but it is important to understand functionality and limitation of collection. A list is ordered, changeable, unlike strings. Duplicate values can be added, and it can be declared on a square bracket. Let's say my list is equal to 1, 2, 3, and I've declared a string as well. So list, you can declare integers and characters. There is no limitation for list. but it should be in square brackets. Now let's run the command mylist, and whatever you declared comes in as output. And if you want to see what is in the index position of 4 for mylist, Python lies in the 4th index position. So your output is Python. Similarly, just like strings, if you want to know the values from index position 2 to 4, it runs. It gives the output as 3 and snigdha. Now, adding or replacing values on list, you can add or replace a value. So if you want to add a value in a list, you use the command append. It adds whatever you give. I'm giving Kaka, and when I'm running this, it gets added to my list. You see here, this got added to my list. Now, if I want to replace a value, let's say I want to replace the value which lies in index position 2, which is 3. I'm replacing this index position 2 value 3 to a hat. And when I do that by using the command insert. And when I run this, what's happening is it got replaced. I'm sorry. It got replaced before 3, right? And if you want to remove it, whatever you added, if you use remove, and you can check it here if it is removed or it's removed, right? If you want to remove Kaka, after you run this, and when you run this, you can see that Kaka is removed. And there are other operations that can be performed on list as well. A clear function clears the entire list. When you run this command, you get an empty list. And copy is used to copy the entire list. Now, there are some other functions in list where clear removes all the elements from the list, and copy returns a copy of the list. Extend adds the elements of the list to the end of the current list. Count returns the number of elements of the specified value. And index returns the index of the element. Pop removes the element from the specified position, removes the item with the specified value, like I have did this. Sorts the list, returns the reversed list. List can store any data type as items, be it numbers, strings, or any data types as well. Let's say A is equal to 10, 20, 30, and I declare this, and list B is 60, 40, 40, A. To access a value from the list A, we can write B of 0, 1, 2, 3 to 2. So if you see in B, 0, 1, 2, 3, A, and this is the third index position of B, and in A, you write 0, 1, 2, this is the second one, right? And you get the output as 30. Similarly, let's print my list. It's an empty list. Okay, let's go run this one. And now you do print my list. This is your list, right? If you want to revolve your list, let's say my list dot reverse. The list got reversed.